Mr. Hoyer, how are we doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're good. We were just yelling about Bill Belichick and that debacle of a North Carolina game. So, did you watch it?
Oh, I watched the opening drive. I was like, man, got something going, and then it just snowballed out of control after that. So, look, I guess I don't know who they're playing next week, but they're on to whoever that is.
On to Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yep.
Yeah.
On to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, he used to tell us, like, man, this is the NFL. You don't get any cupcakes like Charlotte. I'm sure he's happy he's got that one next week.
Brian, so we talked to Drake Maye earlier, and he's been named a captain. He's obviously the starting quarterback going into his first full season as the starter. What kind of pressure or weight do you think he's feeling right now as everybody expects the old year two jump from him?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I think the one good thing is, look, he got thrown into the fire his rookie year, and I think the biggest thing is you gain so much experience with game experience, not just practice, not the preseason, but I remember, I didn't really play a lot into a game really until I played in my fourth year, and you realize how different it is. He's already got that by him, and now if I'm him, I'm looking at it, I got a better support staff. I have a legendary Hall of Fame type offensive coordinator who I'm spending every hour of every day with and just absorbing all of that. And so, sure, there's pressure, but that's what comes with being the face of the franchise and the franchise quarterback. So the one thing that always amazed me with him, and he just seems so level-headed, right? I think nothing bothers him, nothing phases him. I thought the way he handled himself last year as a rookie really endeared himself to the veteran teammates. When I talk to a guy like Hunter Henry and I say, what do you think about Drake? And he raves about him. This is a guy who was around Phillip Rivers, who was around Justin Herbert, and only had amazing things to say about Drake. And we saw that. And so he's got to take that next step, not only on the field, but off the field as a leader as well.
Brian, I just need to follow up real quick on something you just said. You said Hall of Fame caliber offensive coordinator and Josh McDaniels. I'm a big McDaniels fan, but there's a lot of people out there that love to throw the barb. All he had was Tom Brady. What's he ever done without Tom Brady? How do you respond to those criticisms of Josh?
Well, I'd say Mac Jones had a pretty good rookie year. I was there that year and watched him work with Mac, and I would say his first year out in Las Vegas, albeit he was the head coach, Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing, and Devontae Adams had his second best year of his career. So people, especially around here, I don't understand why anyone would try to come after Josh after all of the amazing seasons that he's helped put up. And just from my experience, I played for a lot of great coaches. Bill O'Brien was my first offensive coordinator here in New England in this system, and I learned so much from him. And then I got to play for Kyle Shanahan in multiple stints. And Josh is one of the best that I've been around. I mean, just his way of preparation, the notes that he would give, the things that he would point out was just to another level. And I think, look, people have seen Drake Maye this preseason. He's getting a lot thrown at him. But this week, when the target is narrowed to the Las Vegas Raiders, now not everything is on his plate. It's not learning the entire offense. It's what's going to be focused on to beat the Raiders. And nobody does a better job of game planning, in my opinion, than Josh.
Hey, Brian, let's specifically, you mentioned, you expect an improvement in Drake's development. What specifically is that? Is it, getting into safer plays by audibling at the line of scrimmage? Is it cutting down on the turnovers? Is it, just situationally 2 minutes stuff? Like, what do you want to see in his development specifically from year one to year two?
Yeah, first and foremost, it's protecting the football. It's something that the one thing you realize as a quarterback, once the ball's in your hands, you touch it every single play. You have to take care of the football. I like that Vrabel called him out after that first preseason game when he's trying to throw it away. Sometimes the best play is taking a sack. Now, us in the media and the fans may not always see it that way, but when you look at the guy who played quarterback here for 20-something years, the one thing he did better than anybody else was protect the football. And so I think that's a big jump that Drake can make. Now, I'll say this, having covered him last year, I don't really see him repeat a lot of mistakes, which is a great aspect of a young quarterback. Now, with Josh being there, I think you're going to see him take the next step in basically being the coach on the field. This offensive system is teaching him and will allow him to, like you said, get in and get out of bad plays. If it's a run play and they got 8 in the box, we got to get to something different. We got to be able to do those things. And Josh, the one thing that Josh does, he empowers the quarterback on the field to be able to make those decisions. And I think that's the big step you'll see, not only with Drake's maturity, but him actually being coached and able to do that.
So it sounds like obviously Josh McDaniels will be a tremendous game day asset and sideline asset for Drake Maye in his growth. But what are some of the things that he does off field, meeting rooms, practice field, maybe conversations one-on-one with Drake? What's the behind the scenes stuff that he does that's going to help Drake evolve, grow, and hopefully reach his potential?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I always loved about Josh when he was in that coordinator role, he was with us every moment of the day, unless we were going to lunch. I mean, every meeting he's in there, he's talking to the quarterbacks. When we go into the quarterback meeting, Josh's preparation and the notes and the sheets that he would give us, I always joked around, like, if I got signed on Saturday night for an offense that Josh was leading and he gave me all of his sheets, I wouldn't need to take one snap and I wouldn't need to watch one minute of film. He gave you such good preparation as far as breaking things down, getting them into percentages, things that you can go out on the field and have a really good idea of what the defense is going to do to try to take your things away, and then what your response is for that. I think that's the biggest thing. Josh teaches you as a quarterback to basically, we used to call it, put tools in your tool belt and have a fundamental base understanding of what the offense is. And look, you're going to get unscouted looks. You're going to get a defense that lines up in things. He gives you the opportunity to take with the tools that are in your tool belt to be able to problem solve when you're out there. Now, look, I'm not saying Drake's going to do it from game one, but I think that Drake is more than capable of going out there and executing. Like I said, I saw Mac Jones do it as a rookie. I think Drake is able to do those things. And the scary thing is, when things break down, we all saw last year what Drake's able to do with his athleticism. So you got to be able to coach it up, and at some point you got to let the player play too.
Brian Hoyer, former Patriots quarterback, joining us here on WEEI Afternoons. Brian, it's looking like the Patriots may start two rookies on the left side, Will Campbell and Jared Wilson. When I brought that up to Ted Johnson as a former defensive player, he looked at it and said, feast. What is a quarterback? How does a quarterback look at that and react to that, potentially having two rookies on the left side there?
Yeah, look, I think the big thing that is a positive for the Patriots is this game's at home. So I just talked about Drake having control over the line of scrimmage, who the mic point is, where are we sliding in protection. Be thankful that this first game is at home and these guys can over-communicate and Drake can get that aligned up and make sure that guys are going in the right spot. Now, I think the one thing we've already talked about Josh, but with Doug Marrone, you have to go in with a game plan to know that you're going to have to help these guys out a little bit. I mean, the Raiders defense would be crazy not to go over and put Max Crosby on that left side, that opening series of the game, to test these young guys with TE stunts, with whatever pass rush moves Crosby's going to work with. So I would imagine that in the opening 5 to 10 plays, there will be some schemed up elements to hit Max Crosby every which way to Sunday. They're going to jam him. They're going to slam him. They're going to toss crack him. They're going to make sure, especially with Josh's history being out there, he knows the type of player Max is. He's going to make sure to let Max Crosby know, we're not just going to let you have any free runs at the quarterback. We're going to make you think you're getting hit on every single play.
The very first preseason game, the very first 3rd and long situation, they did a T stunt, and Drake Maye got hammered. So it's a good point, Brian. I'm curious, Brian, what you think of the roster and the changes they've made. Kendrick Bourne, Jabril Peppers, Javon Baker, all released after the original 53-man roster came out. That feels strange to me, and it reeks of something going on. Do you read into that? And how do you feel about kind of what the roster settled at for the Pats?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the roster and the cut down day is so different from when I first started out, because now it's more of a week. Like, I think, and it was pretty telling. I think someone asked Rabel about Micah Parsons. He said, look, we're just trying to build depth on this roster. And to me, maybe the reason why some of those guys were on the initial 53 and then as days went on, they got released, I think the team is trying to figure out who's available out there. Who can we go pick up that maybe fits our system or fits our culture the right way? And so I think there was a little bit of that going on. I think it's a clear message that this is a new era. I mean, there's new captains. There's a lot of new players. Vrabel wants it done his way. And so they're willing to sacrifice maybe some guys that can help them win right now immediately to try to get the guys they want in the building. That's how I took it.
All right, Brian, if you had to guess, you got veteran receivers that were brought in for a lot of money. You've got some guys that have been on the team for a couple of years, rookies, etc. Who do you think becomes Drake's best friend and top target this year?
I mean, honestly, I think this is to me, a no-brainer. Knowing Josh, having seen this kid play, I think Travion Henderson is going to be Drake May's best friend, not only in the running game, but in the passing game and in blitz pickup. I mean, when I saw this kid hit the hole that first night, that first preseason game, I don't think I've ever seen a running back get the ball from the handoff and hit the line of scrimmage as fast as him. I know they record these stats now. I'd love to see Next Gen Stats come up with that because he's explosive, and we've all seen the clips of him in the receiving game as well. And then obviously it was the college level, but we see him go in there and stick his shoulder in and pick up linebackers like it's nothing. And so I think you're going to see him develop into a guy that Drake Maye can rely on, not just in the running game, but in the passing game.
Brian, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I probably should have asked you this beforehand, but oh well, it's live radio. Can I get 2 predictions, season record, and what happens on Sunday?
Okay, I'm still like kind of player mode, so I don't like predictions, but I think it's going to be win total should be somewhere between 8 and 11 games. That's what when I look at the schedule and I look at the culture that's being built and I look at the players. Now, a lot goes into that. Do people stay healthy? Are the guys who are so important to this team, are they able to stay healthy? I mean, look at right where we're at right now. We don't know if Gonzalez is going to play. There's injuries all over the defensive backfield. I think that's what they're capable of. It'll be about execution. The one thing that I've always looked at, more games are lost than they're won. And I think Vrabel will have these guys coached up to a point where they're not going to beat themselves a lot. And that's half the battle in the NFL. And so if you do that, Drake Maye takes another step. The offense expands. Diggs is healthy, comes back to be the receiver that we all think he can be. I think that's somewhere in the range of what they do. Now, does that get to them in the playoffs? I don't know. I mean, you look at the AFC West, that's a tough division. 3 teams made the playoffs from that division last year. So you may have to win 10, 11 games to sneak into the wild card.
Wow. If we movie poster that, Brian Hoyer, Patriots could win 11 games. We could really go viral or something.
He did say 8
scenario, okay? This is where I don't like to get in predictions. This is where Bill said, manage expectations. But when I look at the schedule and I go down week by week and just the matchups, at least where we're at before the season starts, I think that's the ceiling for this year.
All right, Brian, appreciate you chatting with us. We'll see if they can get well on their way to 11 wins on Sunday. We'll talk to you next week.
Good stuff, buddy. Thank you.